Well, it's 2 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Central on the dot, so I'm going to get started. Welcome. My name is Julie Garden Robinson, and I am the NEAFCS Vice President of Awards and Recognition. And I guess my first piece of business is just to thank all of you. I thank you for your service, because we can choose some of the service tasks that we want to have in our professional life. And I'm glad that you all have chosen this as your service. It is very valuable, and it's quite complicated sometimes, as I'm sure you've discovered. So today, we'll start with something kind of fun. So if you want to open up the chat and type your name, your state, your job, your position, and your favorite Thanksgiving food. So let's just take a minute to go ahead to the chat and do that. And I see some familiar names, so that's great. Hey, lots of my types here. Lots of stuffing is showing up. So thank you for sharing that. So I'll let you wrap up what you're doing. All right. So here's what we're going to do, and I'm glad to see so many states on board today. This is my last week as your Vice President of Awards and Recognition, but I'm certainly willing to help in the future with questions. I continue to get questions, as last Friday I had questions about awards. So what I'd like to do today is do a little tour of the website and show you where to find things. I'll provide a few updates. We're in the midst of planning, doing the action plans. And if you haven't joined a national committee, and since you're working right now in awards and recognition, you might consider hopping on one of those, like the ceremony committee or one of those other committees. And I'll ask you to mute your mic. So I'll have you mute your mics because we can hear you. And we'll get started. So first, a little update on where we are. We had 632 applications from 38 affiliates, and 430 of those moved on to national judging. So that was a significant increase from last year. We are giving out 70 scholarships to national winners totaling $10,300. So that could be used to defray the costs for the virtual conference. So I'll have you all check. Is your mic muted? There we go. We had 102 people volunteer to judge, and 62 were randomly selected by me. And I did have to call upon some of my alternates as well. So here are some of my best tips after 2 years in this role, and I've never been part of a face-to-face conference in my 2 years as this particular vice president, but be aware of the process and the timeline, and I hope to walk you through that. I'll try my best to answer any questions you have. Some of you may have some ideas for each other as well, so we'll do open mic a little later. I'm going to go through the guidance for your role. As I said, we'll take a quick look at the website. And maybe my best advice is to work with the previous person in your role, if that person is still around, or if you're going to be transferring your role to another person, be sure to mentor the next person, because there's a lot of moving parts as you probably have discovered, with the awards program, particularly for states with a large number of affiliate members. And then remember this, don't get frustrated. You're not alone. There are lots of people available to help you. And we have a great assistant in Will Ferguson at NEAFCS National Office. And he can figure out any of this technology that, you know, might burden us. So that's what he does. So that's really helpful. So now I'm going to stop the share and we're going to head over to the website. Let's see if I can figure out how to reshare. There we go. So if you want and you're at your own computer with another screen, you can kind of follow along with me. But I'm at the NEAFCS website, and for most of the things that I'm going to show you now, you will need to be logged in, so you'll need to know your password. But here's what it currently looks like. And by the way, I hope you've taken the opportunity to check out the silent auction and also consider becoming one of the star donors. I mention that because those programs directly help members. That's how we support our awards program. And there are some really neat looking things in the silent auction, and I've been outbid on every one of them. So I need to go in and rebid. So anyway, that's the front of the website. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. The parts I want to draw your attention to for the sake of what we do, or you do as Vice President of Awards and Recognition, is this tab. You see it's right along the top. The awards application is not a live link right now. That will open up December 1st. So note that date, December 1st is when this should open up if all goes well. Because we had a very short time between our conference this week and December 1st, believe it or not, it's not too far away. I went ahead and updated a lot of things in last year's award documents. We have not changed things very much. So I updated some wording and that kind of thing. Our committee that is working on training and ceremony and so on, they may make some changes down the road, but for the sake of this coming year, you could certainly go to our awards application information from last year. So it's closed, as I said. I do want to point out something. This is always a sticking point for a lot of states. You see the national deadline is March 15th. That is not the state deadline. You will need to set a state deadline to give you time to judge and have advance those winning applicants to national by March 15th. So most states will set their time, their deadline for, say, February 15th or maybe February 25th, whatever it happens to be. But your state deadline for judging purposes is before the national deadline. And I know some of the states don't really do a major judging because you might not have competition within the different areas, but just be aware that there are two different deadlines. One is the one that you set along with your affiliate, and the other is the national. And there's no, we don't adjust the national deadline. It's going to be March 15th. The only thing, and I didn't check this year, but sometimes it lands on a Sunday, and in that case, we'll move it over to Monday. Another important date, very important for your affiliates, membership dues must be received by the national office by December 31st in order to qualify for awards. So unfortunately, in the last 2 years, I've had a couple of very disappointed members who thought they had paid their dues, and this was into March, and they found out, no, I forgot to pay my dues, so I am not eligible to be part of this national awards process for that year. So we couldn't make exceptions. So just, let your affiliate members know that that is a firm date, December 31st, and that's when they must be received. So please write down that date as well. I also wanted to remind you of these really creative videos that some of our training committee members for awards and recognition did last year. So these are brand new. They're in the process right now of checking these over to make sure that they're still okay. And if needed, they'll either be taken down or they'll be updated by December 1st. But if you prefer videos over reading things, these are very creative and very, very fun. There also will be, for most months, monthly updates in the newsletter. So encourage your affiliate members to read those updates. I did them for the last couple of years along with my committees, and this is where we communicate with you. Thankfully, we now have a Facebook site or whatever. I think it's going to be called Meta in the future. I think I heard that on TV. We have social media, and that's another good way to get updates, and also our website and broadcast emails. So please encourage your affiliate members to pay attention to all those different styles of communication, or pick one where you always go on your Facebook page. Maybe you'll see that the best. But we do try our best to communicate. And if we're not getting this message to you, let me know, let the next VP know, because we're not trying to be secretive in any stretch of the imagination. We want you all to know and have this information. So I just wanted to also show you some other award documents. Maybe you as the VP are going to do a Zoom call or maybe a face-to-face meeting with your affiliate members. If you can hook up a computer live and kind of do what I'm doing, a lot of times we're so busy in our lives, we don't take time to really get to know a website. And I want to assure you that everything that, even questions and answers, things that you need to know, will be on the website. And we are going toward more videos now, if you don't like to read a lot of content, but just be aware that it's all there. So this was new in 2021. Will did this for us. Shows you exactly how to apply for an award, how to upload these files, and so on. So that is all there. Should be fairly straightforward to follow. Coming December 1st, as I said, there'll be 2 awards documents. This happens to be last year's because there'll be a new name that will substitute for my name on the awards documentation. But if your affiliate members want to get a head start on what are the awards, all the awards will be the same. Something's got to stay the same in the next year. So we are keeping the same awards. And I do want to point out these top 2 or I guess numbers 2 and 3 on the list. We have our Continued Excellence Award and our Distinguished Service Awards. These are really state awards that are recognized nationally. So to receive the CE award, you should be a member at least 12 years. And there's a whole application process. So it's not automatic. You should have some kind of a selection committee. And this is a very important, prestigious award. So, make sure that whatever folks are receiving this award are meeting the criteria. And typically you'd get your plaque handed to you in person. I wish we were doing that, but just be aware that these plaques will be mailed out probably this week. So they will be getting them at the address that is in the national directory that we have. So they will receive their plaques in the mail. Now, Distinguished Service Award is a member 10 years or more. And again, it's determined within the affiliate. All you do as the Vice President of Awards is upload the names of the people that are receiving the DSA award. And I will show you that there's, depending on the number of paid memberships, that's how many awards you can receive. So if you have up to 50 members, you can have one of each, I believe is the number. Let's see. So here is the big book. I went through this year with just recently actually, with a fine-tooth comb, and found any little things that were missing. I will let you know this is an update because we kept on running into this year, and I got a lot of questions about it. It does say it's 5 double-spaced pages. That's how much content that you get to write to apply for one of these awards. That is not 5 single-spaced pages. It's double-spaced. So, and I did add that, and I also added some things about even margin sizes, just because we were getting tiny margins and tiny font and 10 pages and all that sort of thing. It's really important that whoever applies for awards follows the instructions. And the reason we do that is so it's fair for everyone. We all start on the same page, basically. So here's the numbers I was talking about. So this applies to all awards, including DSA and CE. So let's say you have 60 members in your affiliate. So you could enter 2 awards for every category. If you have a big affiliate, I don't think we have any over 201, but if you did, that would be 5 applications per category. And again, there's that date, March 15th, very important, the national date. Your state date is very likely different. So the other piece, okay, I don't mean to make you dizzy, so shut your eyes. But at the end of this documentation, we have given you all of the criteria. So the possible points earned, these various pieces. So if anyone's wondering how their application will be judged, it's in the application document. So no secrets here, and it should all be present. This was updated in 2021 as well by one of our committees. And I think this would be a good one to share with your affiliate members. Be sure that you label everything. So in case, I don't know what can happen, but every piece should be labeled. So every file should be labeled so that we know where it came from, and that maybe the name of the program and all that sort of thing. We do allow 3 file uploads, 3 files with up to 25 megabytes each. And my advice on this is not to include everything possible that you've done. Pick out your best exemplary pieces from your curriculum or your newsletters or whatever it happens to be, and put those up. Our judges often have a lot to judge. Like some of these categories have many 25 or 30 or more applications to judge. And that's why we keep it to 5 double-spaced pages and 3 files to upload. And I always think of these things as pieces. So if I was going to upload a piece, it would be a lesson plan, not just one page of a lesson plan, but the full lesson plan, that kind of thing. Tell your story clearly, review. One thing that's different, I guess, for those of you who may have done this for a few years and you were used to our other system, when we changed our website, it no longer allows applicants to go back in and take their old application down and put up a new one. Okay, so once you put that application up, it's in the system. And our committees are currently discussing how to handle that. And one thing that was discussed today was having your trusted buddies at your wherever, your people that you trust to review things, have them look at your application before you ever put it into the NEAFCS system, because it's not easy now to take it down. That's one thing that did go away. And we've had some situations where someone totally forgets to upload their lesson plan or whatever. In that case, Will Ferguson can do some minor tweaks for them, but we just, with 500 plus applications, we can't, do that for everybody. So we do depend on our applicants to do the best job possible, upload it. And if you want to have a special system prior to the uploading, this was also discussed a little while ago, you could have your own little system where you are reviewing and providing feedback, and what goes up into the national portal probably should stay, because it truly would be impossible to have everybody re-upload their things. So that's something I did want to share with you. Follow the guidelines. And as always, we're going to have some people who are disappointed because we can only have one national winner in these different categories. So I do encourage people who maybe didn't get the place they want, or maybe they didn't get a place at all, to go back, buff up your application as long as you were working on it in the previous 3 years. So it's like a 3-year time window. You can re-upload it, tweak it, add some, look at the judges' comments, enter it again. That's totally fine. But you do have to be within that window for that award, which is typically 3 years, if I'm remembering that number correctly. Pay attention to details, and I've been talking time a lot, so time is really important. You got to get this launched in time. So again, all of these pieces are right under our tab. Okay, so any questions before I go on to the next spot I wanted to show you? Are we okay? Thumbs up? Done okay? All right. So next, okay, so I was just under the awards tab. Now I'm going to slide down to Member Center. Okay. And I encourage you to explore this website. It's very robust. It has a lot of functions. So for example, I'll just go under My Profile. Sometimes takes a little while to get up. There we go. Here is where you can connect with other people. You have an inbox if you're choosing to email through this system. But what I wanted to show you is when you receive, if you receive an email from me, this is being kind of slow right now. There we go. This is what I see. And if I wanted to send an email to the committees, or if, on the other hand, I want to send an email to ELIS, there we go. So if you've been getting emails from me on behalf of awards, this is where I would go. And here's the tricky part. If I send an email to this big group of people, and if you reply to that email, it's going to go to everyone. So if you might note, if you've gotten emails from me, I'll say, please reply directly to me, and I'll list my email address. Otherwise, it goes to everyone. So just wanted you to be aware of that. But this is an easy way to communicate with all of you. All right, so now we're going down to another tab. And this is a really important one. I want you to write down and explore if you haven't looked at it lately. Document library. Okay, write down that. Because I actually needed to ask somebody, I'm looking for this, where would I find it? It's in the document library. So this is where you find all sorts of things like our mission and creed, our bylaws, policies and procedures manual, our annual plan, various forms and templates, our strategic plan, our action plan. But the one that I want you to remember, and I'm going to go through this a little bit with you, is the affiliate toolkit. And I'm sure some of you have read this once or twice, depending on how long you've been in your role. But I'm going to go down to page 21. And are you guys seeing my screen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. I just looked over at the other one. I thought, oh no, have they been looking at a blank screen? Okay. So if we go all the way to 21, there we go. So I just kind of walked you through the website. And just like it says, includes all the resources and information that we have. And if you think of other things that would be helpful, these new committees are pretty gung-ho to develop some new pieces for you to make things even smoother. Please encourage all your affiliate members to review the criteria for the awards. Some of the awards come with cash prizes. A lot of them come with money, I guess, or ways to help defray the costs of attending the national meeting, so scholarships. Okay, so let's look at the website. Now, as I mentioned, you do need to think about when you want to set your affiliate awards deadline. You need plenty of time. And I had many affiliates, because I would collect the timeline, who would start with, say, February 1st. I had that from several people. And then I'm going, oh no, we need to wait till February 15th. No, we're changing our deadline to February 28th. So ideally, you'll stay with one deadline. And but that was fine, as long as you get your awards uploaded, and your folks who go on to national judging, those numbers get uploaded on a sheet by March 15th. Just some tips. State winner form must be completed by the national deadline, and you get a personalized link from the national office, and it's sent to you as if you're the vice president of awards. So you use that personalized link to put in those numbers that you get when you upload the original application. The other thing that we all seem to have different timelines for when we choose our affiliate officers. So, make sure that you are listed. If you are brand new to your role, as I think some of you are, make sure that you are on that affiliate officers list with your accurate, updated emails, because otherwise you will not get this correspondence. So that previous listserv I showed you, if we don't have your correct email address, you won't get this updated information. If things change, you can write to your Vice President of Public Affairs and also to Will Ferguson, and we can get that updated for you. But we want you to get the communication. We want this to go as smoothly as possible, and we're here to help you. Another piece, and I'm going to go back eventually, I think, to the affirmation page, which we added. But I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I have observed in my 2 years in this role. Make sure that your affiliate members know what region of the US your state falls into. So I'm sitting in Fargo, North Dakota right now. I'm on the eastern edge of North Dakota, but I'm in the central region of the United States. So I saw a lot of people listing their region as what region they were in their own state. So I might be in the eastern region of North Dakota, but I'm actually in the central region of the US. And if we don't have the correct region, it won't go to the right region. It won't go to the right places for being judged. So I think we've got this fixed. We put it in the affirmation, but we had some folks that were actually in the southern region, but they were listed in the eastern region. So really, really important to remind your affiliate members to take a look at that list. And when they upload their applications, they need to be in the right region, or they're not disqualified, but they might not be judged in the correct place. So I think it's easier now. We have fixed that, I believe, but a reminder would be good. Just a reminder, I mentioned the Distinguished Service Award and continuing education. We do not judge those nationally, but they must be listed on the state winner form. So you make the decision of who is given the Distinguished Service Award or Continued Excellence, and there are criteria. So your folks who receive that recognition should meet that criteria. It's all listed, and there's a detailed application that has to be done. But you make that call, and those names are just listed on the state winner form, and they receive these really nice plaques and nice recognition. Let's see here. Follow the guidelines and the number of awards per category. Exceptions to the award restrictions are for NEAFCS Educator of the Year award. So that one, you could have more than one application if you had more than 50 people, I guess. There's that March 15th. It keeps coming back and back. We don't want anyone to forget that one. Keep track of these ongoing network newsletter articles, the Facebook site, the broadcast emails. And as I said, now is a great time if you're, some of you may be leaving your role. So maybe it's time to move into being on one of the national committees. And actually, this is something that needs to be updated. They're no longer called subcommittees, they're called committees. So we have the training committee, ceremony committee, support committee, and they were working on their action plans today. There will be opportunities if you just go into your profile and you want to sign up for things. That's maybe something you want to get involved with. I never would have been doing the vice president of, I was public affairs, and then now I've been a vice president of awards. If I hadn't gone to a committee meeting, that's where I got my feet wet. I dipped my toe in and I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. I like this. So consider that. This whole organization it's about professional development. It's, developing leaders among us, which is really important for our whole profession. So also nice in your toolkit, you've got all the dates. Of course, we're past October and we're into November. So that's where right now is where you should be setting your deadlines. You will be getting some things to share with members. They will be seeing it in newsletters. Here is what to do in December. And remember what's due in December? Dues. So your treasurer needs to be sure to get that check sent in. And here's on January through whenever our conference is. So really important, you might want to print these 3 pages and put these dates on your calendar as reminders. So let's see, I wanted to go back. I'm going to go to awards again. And I'm going to go to documents. Yeah, and this one, this is the one I wanted to point out. This, and we have everybody check off that they have read this affirmation, because this helps any of the people in leadership roles. It also helps the affiliate members know exactly what is going on. So those are those regions I was talking about. So should be no reason for anyone to list their state region. We do ask for things like phonetic spelling, so that if you win an award, we can say your name correctly. And this is another important thing. This was happening, so please discourage this. I understand that I may not submit the same application into the same category or multiple categories by changing who the team lead is in each application, or by indicating it was an individual effort in one instance and a team effort in another. So doesn't happen very often, but we just wanted to make it clear that that's not really how we want this to work. And if you just go down the list, I'm not going to read this all to you, but just be sure that if you win a national award, there is an RSVP form that is emailed to Will or the vice president in that case, so that this is all done correctly. And then let's say that you put in an application on behalf of a team. Really important that you let the team members know that, hey, you're going to be recognized, unless you want it to be a surprise. I think I surprised my team last year. So, but you do need to share or respond to an RSVP request. So that is really what I wanted to let you know. And then I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and you can ask me whatever you want and I'll try my best. So what kind of question? Okay, here we go. I see some questions. Will is answering them. Great. Is it okay for a person to submit an award as an individual and be a member of a team award in the same category, as long as they are not the lead member of the award? I believe that is okay. You can't win 2 first places in the same category, but you could be an individual and a team. So is this kind of making sense? You doing okay?
Julie, this is Barbara from Iowa. We have probably a pretty small staff set of specialists relatives to a lot of states. Have there been any consideration going forward in looking at what's happening in various states, so that we might see some different opportunities for awards? For instance, I think about in our state, we don't do a lot of the communication things like some states do. For instance, the university or extension has a communication unit. So our specialists really aren't the ones doing some of the writing and production, which says to me, you can't apply for that if you didn't do the work. You may have had an idea, but you don't bring the idea to fruition through really writing those news releases or really whatever. So,
well, that's certainly something we can look into. A lot of states, and mine in particular, my work is edited. So, I create the content, but it goes through our AgCom. So I that's certainly okay. If they were directly on a team, you could certainly enter it as a team, and someone else says this as well. So I wouldn't let it preclude you if you were, or specialist or whoever was involved in the creation of the content. Those folks from your AgCom or whatever could they could be acknowledged as being on your team as well. Because
Thank
I'm not
you.
doing my own graphic design. Trust me on that one, or my video editing. But it's okay if it's a team effort, and the content, it should be from us.
I have a question.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I
Thank
see
you.
here that it says, oh, sorry. Did you still have more questions? Sorry. Barbara?
No,
Okay. It says here half of the people are NEAFCS members. NEAFCS members, do half of the team members have to be, is that correct, the percent? Or does just the team lead have to be one? Because not all of our staff are NEAFCS. They might be state affiliate, or they may not, but they work with us.
I'm recalling it as the team lead.
Okay.
But that should all be in our big document,
Okay.
the awards manual. But the team lead would have to be for sure.
Okay.
So where are people having issues with doing these applications? What are the stumbling blocks, I guess I'll call them?
I know that you answered this already, but my brain didn't translate it yet. So we have a date of, we'll say February 15th.
Yep.
To have all of our members send their applications to the vice president of this committee. And at that time, between the February 15th and March 15th, that's when we're reviewing them. And then on between that date and before March 15th, we are then having them upload it into the national site after we've reviewed it and said, this is your score, you can upload. Is that?
How it usually happens is they go ahead and upload their application. Well, let me think here. My mind is blown away here. Well, the end point is that the winning application number that they get when they apply as an individual, that number gets put on the award form by you as the vice president. And typically that number would come when they upload their application by your state date into the portal we have. So that's where we run into issues where people want to change things after the state has reviewed the applications, because we can't go back in and take it down. You know what I'm saying? It's already in our portal.
Right. So you have not begun to review applications until after the 15th of March.
Correct.
So as long as everything is uploaded by March 15th, then the National Council reviews it after March 15th.
That is correct. That is correct.
So
but
what is the purpose of having a date in February?
well, that's so
I
you
can say why it's important for me in Ohio. Because we can send 2 applications forward in every category because we have over 51 members. And in some cases, we might get 5 applications in a popular category that a lot of people would apply for. So then we have a state judging to select our top 2 that will go forward.
Okay, and
And
so
it also gives you an opportunity to review the documents. Maybe somebody forgot an attachment, and that's an opportunity for them to resubmit because you're before the national deadline.
Yeah.
And they could put that attachment in and make that change to say, take out my first application. I want my second application to go forward.
okay, so you're getting it on February 15th and you're reviewing to make sure everything that they need is there, and you're scoring it between February 15th and March 15th. And then they are uploading it to the National Council site as soon as you picked your 2 applications in every area that has an application that you believe should go forward to national.
Not quite, if I'm understanding this correctly.
I
Say-
think there's a couple of, I'm sorry, Julie.
So let's say Julie made an application. She put her application in, and our vice president had it judged. So it's in the portal. It's in the portal for national. And let's say they decided somebody else is going to go forward, or whoever. That number that's on the winning application that's already in the national site goes on your award form. So this is different. I know this is different from what you did for years, but as Lisa said, you can, let's say you don't like it all what happened and you were missing a bunch of things. The applicant can upload a new application with any of the missing parts. And when Lisa puts it forward, it will have the new application number on it. Correct, Lisa? Yeah. So what you're judging is actually on the NEAFCS website from February 15th to 30th or whatever you have as your dates. You're looking at it online.
Okay, but you said that once they put it up there, they couldn't take it down or add anything unless they talk to Will.
Okay, so that's if there are small tweaks, and I checked in with Will ahead of time, if there's just a little thing missing, he can fix it. But if there's a lot of changes that they want to make, the best thing to do is submit a new one, pull the old one, I guess, or not put it on your award form. So little tweaks can be done by Will, but let's not do that to Will.
So they can pull down.
They
Something
can't
that
do
did
anything.
not-
They can't do anything.
They can't do
The only one
anything.
with the power is Will. I can't touch it. I have no,
Okay, so if they put up a document and they forgot to attach 2 of their forms, they'd have to contact Will and he would take it down and they would resubmit. Or we ignore the first application and submit it.
submit a new one.
Okay,
I think that would be the best way to do it. And like I said, this is different. We used to be able to go in and change and upload and do things, but it doesn't work that way anymore. So he said the best thing when I just had this conversation with him, if there's a lot of changes, they just submit a new one.
Will that second submission have a different number
It
associated
will have
with
a
it?
different number, and that new
So we
number
use
will
that.
go on your sheet.
Okay.
So best thing to do is make sure all the ducks are in a row on the first time when you put it in. And even before you ever upload anything, have your own process of review. Like, I could ask my colleagues to take a look and like, oh, you're missing a bunch of words, fix that. And I'd get it all fixed up and then I'd submit.
So in the past, I don't know if anybody, it sounds like Lisa, you've done this before. What has your process of review looked like? Have you had one in the past, or have you had them submit it maybe to a Dropbox or a Teams file or something first and then ask them to upload, something like that?
We did used to do that. The last few years, we have a deadline that's probably 3 weeks at least before the national. And we just have them submit it, and then we have a small committee that reviews them. Some cases there's judging that needs to happen because, as I said, we had more applicants than we can send forward. And if something needs to be corrected, we just have them resubmit. It's been really minor. I think we've had, like last year, we might have had 2. In one case, it was something we knew their supervisor had been on vacation and hadn't submitted their letters, the recommendation letter. It was not really their fault. It was their supervisor was gone. So, minor things, but I've looked at them on the national level where I've said, boy, did nobody look at this? There was, obviously it wasn't the right, the 5 pages and it was 8. Well, like that can't, why did this even go through? Somebody should have fixed this.
Sure.
And since you mentioned that, I'm just gonna pop in. Let's see, how can I say it? I would suggest that when they're going down the list of making their applications, to put in the categories. So introduction, label it introduction. Results, label it results. Make it as easy as possible for judges, because I get the feedback and it's like, well, that was in there. And I say, well, if it isn't easy for our judges to follow and find, just like writing a grant, if any of you have done that, you gotta remember that people aren't really reading these super closely in some cases. Make it as easy as possible to find those things that the judges are looking for and rating. And this is where we run into being 8 pages instead of 5, or I've seen 10 or 12 pages, or 5 single space pages instead of 5 double spaced, which would equate to 10 pages. So we just have to make sure everybody's, has a fair shake. That's what this is all about, is to ensure fairness to the best degree possible.
Question on the scoring. So I saw we have, the table with how many points are attributed to each different category. So how do we know how many, I guess, points to take off or move for certain things? So someone brought up, what if it's, longer than the 5 pages? So I don't know if that is in the table, but how do we know how many points to take off?
That is something that this year's committee is going to take on, and creating rubrics. That we've never had rubrics like that. In fact, it was a lot more general than what it currently is for a while. So we did try to assign points to different things, but that will be something that this new group starts working on. It won't be ready for this year, but and I'm sure they'd welcome help. So, because writing rubrics is really difficult.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Who would you contact to help with that?
Let's see, who's doing that? I think it would be the awards. Maybe it's the awards training group.
Okay, thank you.
So you could sign up for the, when you go into committee, sign up.
Okay,
It'd be a training committee.
thank you.
Other questions? These are great questions. And I fully intend to help the next vice president as that person acclimates to this role. So, you know, you can continue to ask me questions as well, and then I'll try to work with that person. First year you do this, it is really, really difficult. And a pandemic hit. So I feel much better this year than I did last year in doing this role.
Someone had mentioned wanting to work on their rubrics, I think. I'm the training committee chair. So if you're interested, if you send me Hope Wilson, well, if you get on the committee, but if you send me Hope Wilson at email.arizona.edu, I can add you to the list, because we're putting that together, that committee right now.
Yep. So that'll be very helpful.
Hey, Julie, I have a question.
Yes.
So if you have a big team, and you have, say, more than the 20 that you can put into the online stuff, and you need to put their names in your application, so that's going to take up, I guess, some room on your 5 pages, because previously I think you could add, and one thing I noticed I enjoyed seeing when I was a judge was kind of a cover page that told you what the award was, the team members, and then all of their kind of supporting materials. But you're saying that since you have 5 pages total, that the judges do not need any of that kind of information. They just want the bare minimum. Is that right?
That's pretty much what's come through.
Okay. So if you have to add names, that's just going to come out of your 5 pages.
I would say you have 5 pages
Okay.
for your app. But use those 5 pages very wisely. You know, if you're looking to put in subcategories and that, make that part of the, you know, the first line of what you're doing. Don't do a whole extra space. So you can do some manipulation, I guess, in terms of using your space wisely. Because I saw
Okay.
some that had, you know, I thought, oh, they could have gotten a whole other page of content in here with the way they did it. But
And I think, I mean, we used to do that because previously that's how we had seen it done. When I judged, there was a cover, kind of what I would call a cover page. And then they had their 5 pages. And I really liked that cover page because it showed me exactly what their supporting materials are. If it's all in one file, sometimes I was a little confused. Like, is this one piece? Is this, that's multiple pages? Is it 2 pieces? You know, what is this? Because sometimes it's kind of hard to tell what the supporting materials are if you're not real familiar with them. So that's what I asked.
so what I would suggest in that case, if this is mainly about the supporting materials, the technology has improved a lot. So if you have like a PDF, those are now editable. So you could put at the top of your newsletter 1, and then, you know, your next one all hooked together could have a little, and this is what I do when I've applied for things. I label my representative materials that I'm putting in. I've never done a cover page, but I label that, you know, using Adobe or whatever I'm happen to be using. So I think it is possible to make sure they know what they're looking at. And I agree, it can be kind of challenging to know what you're judging, but I think it's possible now with the changes in like word processing and other programs. Other questions? So are you all the current VPs, or are you new ones? Or I guess raise your hand if you're brand new to your role. You can use a little icon. Okay, lots of newbies. Well, don't hesitate to reach out if, you know, there's kind of a lot to absorb. And you're also friends and colleagues with people, so just blame it on the VP. If there's an issue with, you know, the rules and so on. Not you, the VP. National VP gets the hit on that one. But best advice again, read through that manual carefully. And if you see things that are just don't make sense, you know, we can make these better. I mean, that's the whole idea. That's the rubrics will make it better. We don't provide, I don't think we provide scores. I think we provide comments. So that's just always been the policy of this group. So you get comments from the judges in the end, but not scores. All right, I'm just gonna wait here. Any other questions, comments, things we need? We've got people. Hope is on our on the committee. She brought up she needs some help in her area, so she's got a couple helpers now. Anything else that would make this a little easier for you in your role in your state?
Julie, I don't want to make work for you or for the chair, but a very short little message. What do I want to say? That can be shared, audio, visual, video piece that could be shared to our membership from the national chair, from the vice chair.
And that actually came up this morning or earlier today. There's going to be more video messages.
Okay.
And
because that in my state, even though we're small in the number of people, I like our chair, our president, to be able to send something out saying, we want you to make sure that you pay attention, and here's the message from the national VP.
Yep, that is one of the things in the works. That's kind of like the launching of the awards program. So that's one of the videos. Isn't that right, Hope? Were you on that one?
Yes, we have several videos planned, but we can make sure that content is involved. There is going to be a video that that was called "So It's Award Season. What Should I Be Doing?"
Yep.
Kind of.
Yeah, so we'll make sure those dates get out and we can share the video on, if you're not a Facebook, if you haven't liked the NEAFCS Facebook page, I encourage you to go out there and follow it. Because we're going to try to use all manners of technology to reach you, from the e-newsletter to the videos and so on. So if you have other things, like that was a great idea. And they're writing their action plans in the next week. So now is a good time to get that on the list. Any other thoughts, questions? All right, well, if you think of something, you know where to find me. Just drop me an email and I'll be sure to convey your message to the right people. But I hope you all enjoy the conference and enjoy the awards ceremony. We have that almost ready to really celebrate our members' accomplishments during the challenging times of the last couple of years. So please be sure to attend that and enjoy that. All right, if there's nothing else, I will end our meeting. So thanks a lot.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.